So about a year ago, I really got into old school RuneScape. It's a game that I've been familiar with since at least 2007, and my time spent on it was mostly on and off, taking long breaks between the years before I eventually lost interest altogether. But in 2025, I made the decision to really come back and put my all into it. I fought Jad, I got the quest cape, and I spent 2 weeks grinding CG. I've achieved things that child me would never have imagined, and I had hit the end game within a single year. But as I reach the 1 year milestone and I grow tired of Gielinor, I'm reminded of another MMORPG. I'm somewhat of a newcomer to the game. My earliest memory was creating a druid before Cataclysm and playing it for a bit before losing interest. That would change with the release of Classic WoW. I wasn't there for the initial release, but I was able to play during the peak of the game. This might sound a bit weird, but my fondest memories of Classic WoW were staying awake late into the night and just soloing dungeons and vibing with guild members. It's unfortunate that I had quit playing due to burnout not long after the Burning Crusade had dropped. Sharing my screen whilst on a Discord call with my friend, standing outside the portal with the entire Pyrewood village server is something that I'm happy I got to experience. And experiences are what I'm looking for. I want to do it all over again. My only goal is to play a class that I've never tried before and take it to the max level. I'm using very few add-ons. I want to take it all in at my own pace and fully explore Azeroth. Ready? Let's go. Creating your character doesn't actually begin at the character creation screen. Well, I mean it does, but before creating your first character you should consider two things: PvP or PvE. I'm a casual player not looking to do PvP, so I choose Thunderstrike. These are my add-ons by the way, but before I bought a subscription I had a difficult time choosing my class. I wanted to play something that I hadn't before, which narrowed it down to 3 choices: Rogue, Hunter, or Shaman. I had zero interest in the Rogue class, so really it was 2 choices. I honestly had a hard time deciding, so I left it down to chance. With that decided, I customized my shaman the best that I could and began my journey. Yeah, so I was a bit overwhelmed. Looking back during my time on vanilla, I always just stood and fiddled with my add-on settings, keybinds and chat boxes, but I was a bit rusty and forgot how to do most of these things. Before I began questing, I had made another big decision on how I wanted to play my shaman. I think I'll play an elemental shaman, but I don't know what I'm doing. You see, with most classes, your playstyle and how you spend talent points, more on that later, determine what role you play in a group setting. Fortunately, shamans seem to be versatile and can play in any role, but I was sticking to my guns and playing elemental. Questing in your starter area is pretty simple. You go to a place, kill some things, come back and finish the quest. Starter quests are basically tutorials, but it did feel a bit strange not using Questy. There's no additional trackers, no map icons, just me, a blank map, and the quest description. So you better get used to this. And I'd find out that paying attention to the details of a quest really matters, like when I tried to heal this NPC.
Oh, the pain.
Yeah, it asks me to use Gift of the Naru, not Healing Wave. These differences matter, okay? Now, something interesting had happened during my time questing here. I got a quest from this NPC. We now have several separate confirmations of unusual activity up on the Shadow Ridge. This is disturbing. We thought that the scouting missions already undertaken had been thorough. One of my scouts hasn't reported back yet. Shaman, I need you to head southwest to the other side of Silverline Lake and find Tolan and see what has delayed him. Okay, go find another NPC that needs help. Great. A lot of quests have their own storylines, which progress as you keep questing. After some walking and talking, I was required to kill some blood elves. So far, so good. While I was blasting some blood elves, I noticed that there was a boss NPC up ahead. Now any WoW player will tell you that if you spot a boss, chances are it drops something that gives you another quest to turn in. So feeling quite happy about this discovery, I turned back to hand in the initial quest that I was there for, only to discover that the next quest asks me to kill the boss anyway. And I'm telling you this is interesting because I end up doing this multiple times. It's not that big of a deal, but I realised that if I were using Questy, I wouldn't be doing this. My routing is so unoptimised, and this minor incident serves as foreshadowing. Putting all of that behind me, I receive one last quest to travel to Azurewatch. This is the game's way of telling a player that they've done everything in the area, so go to the next one. I do as the quest says and head west. Along the way, I help an ally catch some fish and do a bit of exploring. I don't miss the amount of walking you have to do, but I'm taking this slowly as I can anyway. I'm not in any rush to get a mount. I just want to take in the the scenery. Yeah, going off path doesn't lead to much, but in some cases it does. There were times where I'd come across an area, take a mental note, and once I got a quest to kill a certain type of enemy, I'd remember where they were at. And also it's just nice to take in the scenery. While I was playing RuneScape, I'd have the audio turned off, except for when I was doing Gauntlet, and something playing on the second monitor. But here, everything just looks great. Yeah, obviously it doesn't compare to what some games are like now, and some textures look weirdly stretched, but I think what WoW has going for it is its immersion. I'm playing WoW in silence most of the time and it just feels cozy. I don't really mind walking around to do things when the world is just pleasant to be in. So I make my way back to hand in the fishing quest and I'm reminded of a little thing called professions. Professions are activities that you can do while leveling that provide a variety of benefits. You can only select 2 at any given time with additional choices that are secondary, but of course having not played in years, I forgot that. I don't really want to do fishing as my profession. I don't really know what profession I'm supposed to take anyway. I remember doing tailoring and enchanting as a mage, but I could do leatherworking. With that in mind, I make my way to Azurewatch. When I arrive, I don't waste any time trying to learn my profession. The sooner you start, the better. But since I've got no memory of this place, I ask a guard for directions. He doesn't tell me where to go specifically, just go to Stillpine Hold. I don't know where that is, so I head in a random direction. I come across a signpost hoping that it'll help, but it doesn't. That's when I checked my map and noticed that the guard had placed a marker on it for me to go to. I made my way over. This all took about 5 minutes, by the way. And, well... okay... Yep, can't talk to any of them. So feeling a bit defeated, I make my way back and I'm accosted by a night stalker that wants to know if I've got any games on my phone, and I make a little discovery about totems. Wait, you can only put down 1 totem at a time? I didn't know you c- Okay, wait, so that's a stonekin totem. You can only do 1 at a time. So this isn't really true, and it took me longer than most to understand why. Each class has their own trainer NPCs that you can learn new abilities from for a small cost. Shaman gameplay revolves around your totems, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to mention it. For now, I only have access to the Earth Totem, which is a requirement to use Earth Totem spells. You can only place 1 of each elemental type, and if I wanted more, I was going to have to wait. But back to what I was doing, I realised if I couldn't learn my professions from the Furbolgs, I could always go to the Exodar. It's the Draenei capital. Well, it's more like a spaceship. Did I mention that we crash landed here? So finally, I learn my professions and make my way back to Azurewatch to quest, skinning any stags along the way. Oh, come on! There were plenty of quests to do and I won't go over every single one, but this quest line started by cryptographer Orin was quite interesting. I think I've cracked it, Joy Taps. All we need to know about the Stillpine Furbolg language is imprinted on their totems. With just a rudimentary understanding of how their symbols work, we can study the totems and learn to communicate with the Furbolgs. I've written down the basics of the symbol matrix on this parchment. Study it and then examine the totem. It should lead you to the next language totem. Speak to Arugu when you return an educated Draenei. Wait a minute, if I had just stuck around I could have talked to the furbolgs earlier, but whatever, I follow the spirit to this totem and it asks me to go to another totem. That was the shortest jump ever. Eventually I reach a totem that describes a war between two furbolg tribes and a hero to save the Stillpines. I have to kill some Bristlelim NPCs and free some of the Stillpines while there, and I wish that I could say that this didn't take long, but it did. Where are the fucking keys, dude? Give me the keys. I save the last captive and I make my way back, and naturally before continuing the quest line I make a stop at Odysseus's Landing. It's a small Alliance outpost. Of course I do whatever quests are there, nothing noteworthy really happens, something about goblins overtaking a ship and an Alliance traitor, but there was one quest I needed to do that asked me to head west and reach an island. I swim there and there are just dozens of aggressive owl beasts. I managed to sneak my way through and find a night elf named Cowlin just on the shore. I was not prepared for the tonal whiplash as Cowlin asks me to kill him out of grief over losing his family. We had lived peacefully among the owl beasts of this island for many years. You can imagine my surprise when they stormed the beach and attacked us. I fought tooth and nail but was easily overpowered. As I blacked out from the vicious blows that I had been dealt, I prayed that my family not suffer. When I awoke, all was quiet. The sand was soaked red with blood, their blood. They were devoured whole. I care not for vengeance, joy taps. I only ask that their remains be returned to me for proper burial. Instead of ending this man's life, I opt to find the remains of his family. I searched the house and looked at the camps, thinking it was an item left on the ground, but instead this happened. Oh,
I can't carry anymore.
it's a... Right, because they ate them. I get it. I don't know, I just thought they'd have them roasting on a bonfire or something. Well, that's morbid. And morbid's right. There are some areas that add a bit of horror to the game. I'm reminded of Duskwood and how the day and night cycle changes if you're coming or going, but I handed in the quest and Hearthstoned off of the island. Now was a good time to free up my inventory and visit my shaman trainer. Turns out I had a few things to buy, most importantly an upgraded lightning bolt, which I had been using a lot to kill things, and also a new totem spell, the Stoneclaw totem. Not all totems deal damage or provide buffs, some provide a certain utility. The Stoneclaw totem taunts nearby enemies. I place it on my action bar, not really knowing if I'll ever need to use it, and continue questing. Before I went to the Stillpine Hold, I still had one or two quests left in Odysseus's Landing to do, and during my time there I did end up hitting level 10, which unlocks my first talent point. Each class has 3 different trees to spend their talent points. You get 1 per level and they can be refunded, but at a cost. Spending points can improve your current stats and abilities and even unlock new spells. It's never really a good idea to spend points outside of what role you want to play, so it's pretty common for players to search online on how they should spend their points. But we aren't doing that. Sure, I know I'm playing Elemental, but I honestly don't know where specifically to spend my points, and I don't think it really matters. Respecking costs pretty much nothing early on, and I'm past the point of caring what other players think about me, so we're going in blind. Increases the damage done by your lightning bolt, chain lightning, and shock spells by 1%. I'm gonna go for damage. I finally make my way to Stillpine and speak with the chief of the tribe, and the hero that would save them all and put an end to the war is, of course, me. Remember what I said earlier about killing a boss without having the quest tied to that specific boss? Well, this is it. I run inside the fortress, kill any bristle limbs along the way, and I am face to face with the boss named the Kirkin. The fight isn't anything special, just spam lightning bolts and I'm done. But I notice that nothing really happens, and the boss doesn't drop a quest item, so I make my way back out and do what I was supposed to be doing and help out the other furbolgs in the area, which leads me further north to a fire elemental, and I kid you not, he tasks me with going back inside the fortress and getting a quest item, and I ran into another boss that dropped a quest item. Just thought I'd mention that. So I do what he says and head back, noticing that I had new quests available, which also asks me to go inside, kill some enemies, and find the source of the bristle limb corruption. I do all of these things, and of course I kill the boss again, right? Thinking that it was the source, only to find a red crystal in the background, which triggers 2 enemy spawns. Whoa! Jesus! Me, dude. I used the Stoneclaw totem to escape, and after turning in all of those quests in, I only now get the quest to kill the Kirkin. Again? This would be my 3rd time now? Oh, I'm not good at this. But instead of doing that, I wrap up another quest in the area by killing some Ravagers for their hides. Wait, I need to get Ravager hides as well. I'm actually bad at this when you think about it. This is the unoptimized way to do quests. While I was collecting their hides, I had a little interaction with another player that was running away, so I healed them. I don't know if they're kissing me or saying thanks in another language, but I send them a little heart back and continue what I was doing. And while I was doing this, I made the discovery of totem types. I've just noticed that all of the totems that I have use the same totem, and I'm wondering if I get a different totem type, can I put up 2 totems, as long as they are different elemental types? I know I talked about it before, but look at all this footage that I have. It took me 5.5 hours to realise this. So I get all the hides and decide to put an end to this quest line. I made my way back inside the fortress for what I hope is the final time. I party up with another player and we slay the Kirkin, fulfilling the prophecy. How do I leave the party? How do I... What? I want out. Let me out. Oh, there we go. With not a whole lot left to do, I return to Azurewatch and speak with my trainer, unlocking a bunch of useful spells. The totem inflicts... Oh, okay, so it's like AoE damage, kind of. Purge the enemy... Oh, okay. Returns the spirit to the body, restoring a dead target. It's a res? Okay. And we got an upgraded healing wave. This is really cool. I'm enjoying Shaman so far. I help the fire elemental with his quests, which sends me back to my shaman trainer who wants me to go to the Exodar. In doing this, I'm given the fire totem and an additional totem spell. And with that, I only had one final quest to do. Head north to the Bloodmist Isle. My time on Azuremyst Isle had come to an end, and I was now heading somewhere new. I took my time to immerse myself and engage with the game in a way that I feel Blizzard had intended. I arrived not knowing where to go, not knowing much about my class, and not knowing how to leave parties. But in playing the game the way that I wanted, I was able to pick up on these things naturally. It wasn't very optimal, and I think I spent way too much time here than I was supposed to, but I feel better as a player and gained a new experience, which is what I set out to do. The only thing to consider now is, what's next?